Hey guys, back to this another video. My name is Ross Johnson. This video is on, this video, my name is T. This channel name is TMNJ. Welcome back. Sorry, I just got back from Astral traveling experience, and I'm hyper. Well, I'm not hyper, I'm just tired, and I'm trying to get my mind back into things. Hold up, let me start changing my LED lights, like brighten up the room. Here we go. So, oh my god, this astral traveling experience was like, off the charts. Why I say that? So good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. Why I say that I'm tired as hell is only because so I literally went to sleep at like 4 in the morning, and it's like 8 o'clock right now. No, 7:30 a.m. for me, so it's like I need to get more sleep after this. But I had two experiences, guys. The first experience was I was in Japan. No, my bad. I was in the U.S. I was here. I was in the U.S. I was in my neighborhood in Franklinville, New Jersey. And what happened was, oh my god, there was so much. Apparently, humans were like, I don't know what it was like a parallel world. And of course it was, right? Because this is the astral plane. So I was in a parallel world, and apparently I was some sort of skilled dude. And all I remember seeing was I remember going up. I remember the other version of me actually going. He was he was going. He was walking through. He was walking up the street, and as he's walking up the street, you could see like people like running, like literally like there's people running. Like from like the opposite direction. I was just like, what the hell's going on right now? And then I saw like a dog. And I was like, and I saw people, and I was like, yo, like nigate. Like nigate. Nigate. I'm pretty sure that's run in Japanese. And there's nigate, and then there's Ike, which is I think Ike is run or go. I think nigate is like run or go as well. One, I forget which one is which. I was like nigate, nigate. And what happened? I think EK is forward. Yeah, something like that. And what happened was, it's like screaming at these people. They're like continuously like yelling. Like I'm my bad, not yelling. They're continuously like running like the opposite direction, like down the road, and straight up. Like there's officers, there's people, there's regular people, there's officers, there's like every sort of civilian you could think of, every sort of person you could think of, just running like down, like people like guys, like heavy military guys, especially like literally running down. I'm just like, what the hell's going on right now? Like the other meters was like, okay, just like it's just like kind of in a state of like, caution, but still like continuing to go forward. I don't think he knew. I don't even think he knew what the hell's going on either. And he's just like he's continuing, and it's just repeated. He's just saying negate like repeatedly, and then he pauses and like he sees like that there are some vehicles up ahead. So I'm looking at my neighbors right now. What the hell? Oh, is this? Oh, I think. Oh. Oh. He's going to school. Oh, I love it when the youth are growing. I love it. Puts a tear in my eye. Um, oh, Sorry, I just had to see that. That's just another family. That's why. Um, it's truly beautiful. Now, what happened was I just paused and was like, "What's like in my mind? Like, what's going on right now? Like literally, what's going on? Like I'm just watching everything. Like, bro, what?" And then the other meat's just continuing to move forward, and I see these zombie-like creatures, and like in my mind, well, not my mind, in the other dude's mind, I heard like um, zombies, which I'm thinking like are like robot zombies. No, these are like people that were like humans somehow transformed into like zombies, but like the way they were zombies was like kind of like in a sort of robotic sensation, like literally red eyes, like glowing red eyes. And I was like, what? Now, what happened next that I found interesting was as the other me is just looking like, yo, like, run. Like I'm seeing like there's like a dog. I'm like, oh my god, there's a doggy. And it's just like it's skinny. It's like it looks like one of those robo zombies. And I'm seeing like a bunch of buses and vehicles like trying to like come forward like like the way I'm coming from. And I was like, wait, it's like up the street now. And I was telling him like, yo, chill. Like, there's people coming down there. There's a dog coming down there. Don't hit the dog. Don't hit the people. Like, yo, like, I literally was putting my hand out like this. I was like, yo, like, chill. I mean, like, guys, when I say the buses and the vehicles behind me were like stacking up, I mean, like, they were stacked the hell up. Like, people, it was like a full scale evacuation happening. Literally. Like a full scale like military personnel evacuation. Everyone just leaving the area, like literally. And I just was, and I guess the other me was just literally, I guess at the wrong place at the wrong time, or simply put, we just didn't get the memo because every other, the way the cars were stopping was like such in a hectic way. It was like energetically speaking, I could tell they were trying to not crash into one another. Like everything was that hectic, literally. Um, and I kept on going forward. They started moving. They started just, as I said, got out the road. They started just to move. If they could just get out, they just went. They just got out. It didn't even matter which lane was which lane. They just continued moving. They didn't care. And I just was like, what the hell? Now see, this other version of me continues walking, continues going forward, and I'm just like, what's going on right now? And I'm like, in my mind, looking like, please don't get bitten by one of these mates. Please don't get bitten. I don't even know if you can get bitten. But the thing I think that shocked me, personally speaking, was when I literally saw like like this thing was. It's like part of its mouth was blown off. Like the human part of his mouth, I guess you could say, was blown off. And but think about it like your jaw, like right here, is no longer located to like the rest of your face. Like he looked like that in a sense, kind of like he would be like, I don't. I was like, that's a that's the best way for me to honestly like show you guys. Like it was bad. It was scary as hell, and it was the sad, interesting part about it was part of my woods, right? Part of where I'm at, part of the woods was like dark, but the other part was like kind of like bright. So I guess it was like about to. I guess it was maybe dawn or maybe morning, going towards I couldn't tell you. Maybe like 'cause I'm trying to compare the time of day, but it could have been maybe about to be evening, or maybe it was like morning. Oh my bad. Um, maybe it was like morning about. Maybe it was like early morning. Yeah, I think it was early morning. Because the lights were like low. Yeah, definitely low. And the next thing I remember, like I literally I was just walking. I was just walking this entire time. And here's the interesting part about it. This is where it gets interesting. I apparently somehow like it was so every other astral traveling experience I've gone through, I've come back without trying to come back. I've literally been these three experiences I had. I came back on my own. Literally, like I literally came back willingly, which was interesting. But to continue on this with the first experience, because there was three, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me drink some water too. You don't get dehydrated all the time because speaking takes a lot. Um, um, yeah, my bad. To continue on, that happened, and I just paused. Like, what's going on right now? Because I literally had no idea what was going on. I was like, this is some sort of outbreak, pandemic. What's going on? And as I got closer, what happened? I ended up in this place. The scene skipped. I ended up in this place. Well, actually, I think before I ended up in this place, when I saw before after I saw the monster thing, the Robo zombie thing. What happened next was, which was interesting to me, was watching a policewoman straight up just like she literally was just covered in like part of her body was just covered in blood, and she was just screaming, she was crying, she was just the way she was running was like as though her leg was broken. Like she literally looked as though she'd like lost all hope, and was just like, I'm just going to run for my life now, and wasn't even running. And I just looked at her like, in my mind, I'm just looking like, bro, the F? I'm like, yo, what's going on right now? Like, what's going on? And I'm looking at these people like, bro, why y'all coming? Like, what? I'm looking at the vehicles like in my mind, right, from my own perspective. I'm like, why are you guys coming this way when you can see this blasphemy this way? Who comes this? Who comes near? Who comes towards the bullshit? Who? No, my apologies for cursing, but like, who comes towards the BS? Who? No one. We're trying to really evacuate. Well, none. Not. If you do that, you're not really educated in that sort of way, logically. But then if it's fight or flight situations, pandemic or some sort of outbreak where people are dying and the military is even running away, then there's bound to be some no brainers in that. Now, then again, I couldn't really tell what the hell was going on to a huge degree. I really did not know I couldn't tell what was going on. Um, but basically, yeah. And there was one person whom I helped out. Um, the other version we helped out got because they were in some sort of crate thing that had like a bunch of medicines in it, and I don't even know like how they even got into this crate thing. And I was like, what the hell is this? And sorry, I'm like remembering the third one. It was the third experience of mine. It was hilarious. Um, but no, what happens is these crates had like apparently like the meds you have to use. Well, not meds, the stuff you had to use to kill these robo zombies. So apparently you didn't use bullets at all. Bullets, I guess, didn't work on them, which is actually terrifying to comprehend. Um, yeah, no, bullets did not work on them. I got the feeling of given they were like a huge crate of these, and basically what happened was the woman was, I don't even know why she was in the crate. Now, mind you, when I say crate, I mean like a huge crate, literally like a huge box, basically. Um, like a human's like think about like a human sized box, like she was in that sort of crate, and I just like pulled her out because I was like, let me just like I'm like I guess the other me was like, let me just do this, and in my mind looking like, but can't she technically just like do this, like to like get herself out of it, or is it like I'm not comprehending. But then I looked at it and I was like looking back at it now, I'm just like, I guess she was panicking. I just was like, can't she get out on her own? Do we need to really tend to her? And then me, I guess the other me was like, I could hear the me thoughts like, yo, I can't leave her to die. Like I could leave her, but like, that's not gonna person I am. And so I opened the thing, and I was just looking at the other me like, bro. Well, not opening. I got her up out of it, and she was like, thanking me and so on. I was like, yeah, go. And she was like, no, 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 we got to fight these things. And I was like, okay. And looking at this like, no, fight these things. No, uh, And the other me just continues, like just like he takes. Well, I don't know how the hell these things work because the scene changes, right? I was in some sort of like building with like I guess survivors or people who were trying to fight back, and it was like these. Give me a second. The chemicals that were being used were like, yes, I said chemicals because they were literally like chemicals, like liquid chemicals that were used to destroy these zombie things. And the way you did it was like basically the gun was more. It looked like a plastic gun, honestly. Looked like one of those plastic injection things you'd see in like a movie or something like that. I'm like for them like Resident Evil, for example. Resident Evil. Um, but basically, it was like that. It was about this big, right approximately, and the fluids were like approximately like this big, I think. Like the chamber thing, the fluids were in was approximately like this big, I think. And you just slide it in. And I was like, and mind you, as I'm looking at this, I'm like, how do you like handle this thing? Like, am I thinking like trying to in my mind like I'm trying to like figure like a gun. Another version of me is trying to configure like a gun too, in a sense. And apparently the trigger was like, bloody hell, if it's like this, it's like that. Yeah. So basically, it was like you'd be holding it like awkwardly, which was like I was like, how do you hold this? So it was like you held it at like the position where the chamber went in. Um, except it was different. It was just like kind of like you had to angle your hands in a certain way, literally. So that was kind of like blasphemous to me. I just was like, what the hell is this? Um, like how do you do this? But I mean, it's a parallel world, so you don't really, again, I've said this in as many videos as I've made this far. You don't put reason into this stuff. Um, Now what happened next was I um I remember, yeah. The other version of me was cocky. The other version of me was really cocky. I mean, like he was obscenely confident and cocky. Like he just was like, I think. Oh my god! I think there was this one mate whom was trying to like give orders, and I looked at him like, no, I'll be giving the orders. Sorry. And he just looked at me like, excuse me? I'm just like, hmm. And I'm just like over here, just my perspective, just in my mind, looking like, bro, why is the other version of me just so much to handle? Like, just the cocky, arrogant, just confident, like, he's like, just that guy, like, in the movie. Like, he's just that, like, in any sort of movie, he'd be that guy. Just that guy, that leader, he's just that guy. Um, did I ever close my door? Did I ever close my door? I don't remember closing. So my door is closed, and I'm like, I don't remember closing my door. Did someone close my door? I don't know. Um, so I'm like really like just focused on this stuff, guys. Basically what happens next is w- apparently we were trying to defend this building, this facility that we were in. Um, well, they were in more so to say. Not gonna include myself in that. That basically apparently was surrounded by a bunch of robo zombies for some odd reason. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, are they just drawn to like large crowds of people, like zombies or something like that? Like, I don't get how this works. And um, the one dude who's like the leader, like the dude, like the head dude, is looking like, all right, guys, we gotta get out there and we gotta kill them all. And I'm just in my mind like, what? I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be wouldn't it be more smart to like wait for them to come into the building and then kill them like that, so that we're not like screwed if we go outside? Like, wouldn't that be better? Like, you just like break the windows potentially speaking and like do it like that. And the other me is just like he's just like looking at it and he's just like he literally, I can tell he seems confused like what? What do you mean go outside? Like we're gonna die if we do that. And he's just like, yo, on me. Stay break the windows. And then like the dude was like, no, 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 go outside. He's like, no, no, no. Listen to me. Screw that guy. Break the windows. And like I think the one dude, well, in the whole circle, he gets up, breaks formation, and like he just breaks the glass, just breaks the glass in general. I'm just like, great, it's beautiful. And then the scene skips, and then I see like apparently like they've gotten through the glass, and like one of them is like in this formation. I'm just like, who broke formation though? And it's just like the thing is literally just like it looked like it was melting in a sense. Kind of like it was like dead, but kind of like it was just. It was odd, like the way the Robo zombie was like positioned. It was really, think about it. It was like a human that was like Robo, like mechanical and decayed at the same time. Like actual human skin, but mechanicalized human skin and like I think the best way to like word this would be watch Helsing Ultimate. Look up Hellsing Ultimate, guys, and then look up like watch at least an episode or two, and like look at the like look at like the ghouls and like the dead bodies of the ghouls, and that should probably give a better like description of what I'm talking about, because that's literally kind of what it looked like in a sense, which is the interesting part. Kind of, not entirely. Um, maybe a bit. I don't know. But basically yes. And then this thing changed, and I was literally I went. I think yeah. What happened was I got up from that and I was like, oh, okay. And then I went back in. Like literally, I just went back. I just went back towards like out of body, and then I was somewhere else. I was in a different world this time around, and the world I was in was my actually no, it was a different Earth, and I was at my grandmother's house this time around. And my mind, I'm just looking like, why am I at my grandmother's house for? Why am I here? And here's where this is the most interesting experience. Well, it's the second most interesting experience. Now, this is why I say it's one second most interesting and really new to me, because I literally was shifting in and out. What I mean by that is I was like leaving my body, like I was like leaving that experience and coming back and forth in and out of it repeatedly, which I'd never done before, ever. Um, I don't even know why the hell I was. I think I was like, experimenting or something to see if I could do it to begin with. And I could, which was interesting because like I've never left my body and gone into an experience and purposely left the experience, like like a really like, kind of like psychologically envisioning myself leaving the experience, leaving, going back into it, leaving, going back into it. But the thing is, this it was like I wasn't entirely leaving. It was like I was leaving it, but kind of like partially, just to come right back into it. Because you can't just like wake up like that and like go right back to the same exact experience that you just were in. No, it doesn't work like that. No, I was literally kind of like leaving and just like consciously and like going back in like kind of. It was odd the way I was doing it. It was really odd, but it was really interesting. Um, and so I wasn't leaving fully. I was kind of like a bit gone, but still there. Um, but yeah, think about it like how do I say? Think about it like opening like when you're think about it like when you're going into a house. You like open. Think about when you're a kid, you're opening and closing the door repeatedly. Like you're still in the house, but you're still opening and closing the door. So it's like potentially speaking, your vision is going black when you're closing the door, and then when you open the door, your vision goes right back to like how it was before. That it's like lights on, lights off, basically. Um, that's literally how it was, and basically what happened was in this experience when I was at my grandmother's, it was like everything was really it was acting up really it was acting up. And this experience was odd because I felt like I had more control this time. Like I literally knew like I was like I had more of a thing of what to do. Like it was like I had no influence, but it was this was like it was a really interesting experience. Um and I kept on leaving, coming back, right? And it was here's where it gets really interesting. When I kept doing it, the last second to last time, here's what happened that struck me as really off. Um, my mother, it was like I felt it was like she began to like notice in a sense. Like it was like energetically like I was looking at my mom in this world. It was like I guess human awareness was really up there, and it's like she could tell that the other me wasn't as he seemed in a sense, which was interesting to me. Like it was like she could tell I was like there, like the other like me was there, like not like I guess a alternate version of the other version of him, and well technically the other version of me. So yeah, and it was just like I could like feel her awareness just up there, and I was just like, there's no way she knows. I know she didn't know, but she just like it's energetically I could feel it off her that she just had some sort of sensation that something was off, and I was like interesting. It's like, but even so, like the way the other me was moving and going about things was like in such a really odd manner, just really off. Um, but yeah, it was interesting, and the second experience honestly is pretty blurry. I won't deny it, guys. It was pretty. It was like, I mean, my blurry is. I won't say it wasn't. I couldn't see it, but more so, it was like now I'm thinking about it, just kind of vague in a sense. It was, but it was just me primarily in my grandmother's house and like shifting in and out and just going towards seeing different scenes and imagery and primarily me like looking at my like I was really around my mother though, which was interesting to me. I just was like, oh. Um, and the more I did it in this world, the more I shifted in and out, the more it's like I could feel her awareness like going up. which was the odd part. That's the part that kind of scared me. Like, how does? There's no way she knows what I'm doing right now. Like, there's no way she knows what's happening right now. And yeah, and then I came back. I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm back. And I went back into another parallel world. I went back into the body after I was like, oh, I'm back? All right, I'm going to go back in. Like, imagine that, guys. Imagine that you're just like, you're relaxing one day, you're sleeping, you have to travel, you have to project. Sorry, don't mind my little brother. I don't know why the hell he's up. He's cool. It's literally like 8 a.m. right now. I don't get what's why he's up right now. Um, but it was literally like imagine you're getting up, right. You're thinking you're gonna go into a dream. You go into an astral traveling experience, out of body experience, or go to or you astral project, and you come back to your body and you're like, all right, that wasn't good enough. I'm gonna go back in. And you go back in and you're like, oh, interesting. And you go and then you leave your body again. But then you come back to your body and then you leave it again. Like after you come back, you're like, oh, that was cool. I'm gonna go back. That's literally how it was, straight up. But um sorry, I the third experience that happened, I literally witnessed a version of me die. Yeah, I know exactly how it sounds. Yeah, it was catastrophic. So apparently this version of me was fighting this Robo dude. Think about it like, so he wasn't. I don't even know if he was actually a Robo guy. I couldn't even see if he just seemed like a android in my perspective, but more so like a mechanicalized android. What I mean by that is like just the complete just machine, but with like huge agility, all the different things. Apparently, me and this mate were fighting. We were in some sort of school, and from what I could see, it looked like this mate like the human world did not seem like he was in a good state. It just seemed like he was in peril. Like I mean, literally, like I'll get to it in a second actually. But this mate, we were in this. I was in the school, and I'm like looking at things, and I'm like, why am I in a school? What's going on right now? And the other version of me is just like he's just fighting this mate, just fighting him. And I think uh, I think we were in mechas actually. Um, by mechas I literally mean like literally in machinery, like machinery sort of like armor suits. Because that's literally how it looked in a sense, like not fully robots, but like full machines, but like in machinery. Um, and I mean, this mate was just, he knew how to use this thing. He knew exactly how to use this thing. Like, he just was like, he was just messing me up. And I think it was, I had some sort of ally with me that we were in some sort of, I guess, fusion, I guess you could say. I couldn't, it felt it felt like a fusion technique that we were like one and the same, but like something happened and like we just split, like the dude just split off from me, and like I guess that was like the plan. That's like, yo, you can like literally. I remember hearing them saying like, yo, you can go. I'm stuck. I gotta stay here. And the dude was like, no. He was like, no, bro. He can't get it to both of us. Like you have to go. I'll just be right here. It's perfectly fine. Like we knew that like I guess we were soldiers too, potentially speaking. 'Cause that would explain that a lot actually. I don't honestly know. And yeah, and I just looked at him like, nah, bro, you gotta go. And he just was like, all right, cool, fine. Like I don't want to, but like have no choice. And what happened next was this mate just like I get he so the dude that we were that me and the other guy were facing apparently this mate was just like the big bad wolf of like fights or whatever the hell of just the place in general because literally I was hell, it was like I was scrunched up between literal door and between a door between no between yeah between a door to some sort of room in the hallway of the place and the dude just straight up went ahead and just like took some sort of metal thing from I guess the hallway and just like stuck it into me. Literally just like stuck it through me and just like began to bend it. And I just was like, mind you, hopefully none of you have ever experienced getting something stuck through you and having it bent. It literally like even though technically speaking I can't feel the pain like that, I can technically still feel the pain of what the dude's feeling. Literally. And it just was like a what like I mean it was excruciating pain. I just was like I think I wanted a third person perspective for that one. I was not trying to feel that. But I could tell it was like gruesome. Like he just was like the dude was like holding back how painful it was. Well, I was holding back how painful it was. The other me was, and all of a sudden I was in some sort of classroom, and it seemed like some sort of like elitist military classroom in a sense, kind of like an academy. And I recall that in this experience, when I was in the academy, well, actually, no more so the guy set me down in the seat. He like as I had the stuff, like he opened the classroom door and sat me down in the seat, and there was a teacher who was just like she was, um, white lady. She had some sort of like bonnet thing. I don't know if they call that woman hairstyle, but you have like the bun. Is it called a bun? I think it's called the bun. And she just was teaching the class, and she looked so undisturbed, like she just was used to like this. She just was used to this, like literally, like oh, someone else, cool. And I just was like in my mind when I was going back in first person perspective, I'm like, do you like not care? Like what? And like the other students just looked like the students that I was looking at, they just looked like unfazed. Like they were like, what's happening now? Like just like like it was nothing new to them. And I'm just like, the and what happened? The mate who had the thing through me, he just he was saying something, and he was getting ready to execute me. And this is when I say like I literally like watched myself die, while the other version of me died. I don't know what the hell he did, but he took something and he just like slow like I could literally feel him like on the other version of his skin, just like taking the thing and just being like. And when I say it is not a pleasant way to die, it is not a pleasant way to die at all. Like it's just like the other me just knew he was gonna. He knew he was gonna die. You know it. You know it. And I'm just like, bro, he's just dying. And crap, the dude said, "Do you have any last words?" And he was like, he's like, humanity will always prevail against those who try to usurp us. Something like that. Um, so I guess the dude was like not really as human as he could have been looking, potentially, because like he literally was like giving like kind of like before as he was like speaking, it was like he gave his like last words, of course, that just spoke them. Again, I don't know if I don't really recall it being the actual last words, but I do remember him speaking about humanity. I do remember that. And what I do also recall is the dude just, he said that the dude just looked at him like, in a kind of like Ori sort of way. Like kind of like, huh? But kind of like in that sort of like confused yet threatened way. Like, interesting, you have that much hope in humanity, huh? And teacher looked at him kind of like in some sort of like disgusted way. I'm like, why are you? I'm like, and my mom looking like, why are you disgusted by this? You should be proud. And then out of nowhere, I came back, right, and then went to another person's point of view, by another version of me's point of view, and I was like, all right, cool, great. Actually, no, it was another version of me. Was it? No, it was not. It was a different person, and I had recalled that basically whenever you go to a different parallel world, you're not going to always be in a version of you. Mm-mm. You can go into any sort of creature, personal perspective or third person perspective, and so on. Like, it's not going to always be a version of you. It could be a version of someone else. You could be looking at you could be in your mother's perspective, and from her consciousness point of view, and like literally be looking at yourself, and then switch back to you based on your own free will. Simply put, literally. But basically, when it came down to this, um, I was supposed to, it was some sort, it was, I mean, it just looked, this world was just like, I mean, humans, I just looked like human extinction happened. That's what it felt like. Cause there was like, um, it was horrible. It just, the sensation I got from this world was just that humans fought something, maybe robots or machines or whatever degree, maybe some sort of enemy, and like we just failed immensely. Like, I mean, there was just destruction everywhere. I don't mean destruction everywhere. I mean, like, the place that I was at, the like I was seeing everything, was, it felt like the one domain that was left of humanity. Like, it was that bad. Um, one of the few domains. Um, but yeah, and later on, I remember fighting the guy, the Robo dude, and I purposely kept going in and out because I was like, I'm not trying to fight this guy, and like, because even though I wasn't fighting him, I was just like, bro, I don't want to feel myself fight. Like, I don't want to feel someone else fighting this dude because it's just like, what? It's just overkill. Like, this dude's just overpowered. Just like, I don't know who he is or what the hell he is, but he's just like, the skills he's using is like, other person couldn't even fight this dude, literally. Had to fight, like, literally the other dude was the other person that I was in, which was a guy, um was figuring out ways to, like, strategic ways in his mind as fast as possible in order to like fight him off, and like, but not in the sense of like, no, it's kind of like sense of defeating him, yeah, but it felt like kind of like sparring in a sense, though. It felt like sparring, but it felt like a real fight too, which was the odd part about it. And oh, is that my older brother getting on the bus? I think it is. Um, and then what happened next was hold up, what the hell happened next? What happened next was I remember trees. I remember forests. Like, I mean, let me say this: humans did not seem to roam around like that, but I did not notice any wildlife either. What I did notice was a lot of forest and trees. That's what I did notice. A lot of open fields, a lot of forest, a lot of trees. So like a lot of nature was like around. But humanity was just like kind of gone in a sense. Like, not fully gone, but like kind of gone. And what happened next was tired as hell, guys. What happened next was what the bloody hell happened next? What happened next was yeah, we were at first we were at the school, And then we were in the forest fighting with trees falling down and so on. And I was using bomb. The other dude was using bombs against him. Um, all sorts of things. Like I was going in third person perspective, first person perspective. It was literally watching a bloody movie. That's what it literally felt like and looked like a bloody movie. Yeah, I literally was just like, wow, this is happening. um, Let me just well, the dude. I'm used to seeing it than me. Not gonna lie. The dude that was spectating or rather looking at, his arm. So like the dude, so like the enemy's armor, his armor was like more bright, like yellow, like white. It was like more like whitish green, like white and green colors. Mine, the armor that of the guy that I was looking at, and so on and so forth. His armor was more blackish purple, dark colors. Um, and it was just interesting, like very interesting. Now here's a much more interesting part about it. The not the last area we got to before I like dipped out was this area was like sand, like we were in like the desert in a sense, but we weren't in the desert because the sand was literally white. And I was like, now I know like you finding white sand isn't uncommon, but I was like, bro, watch, like I mean the sand was like white, and I was like, what the hell? Like why is the sand so white? Like literally, hold on a second. The sand white as this notebook. Don't mind my Japanese. The sand was as white as like literally my note paper. It was that white. Maybe like it was a bit of yellow in it. Lit tints like a teensy bit of yellow, but primarily white. And I was like, whoa, that's really white sand. And what happened next was I somehow managed like to use buildings. Now here's the funny part about these buildings. The gravity was just messed up on this world. I mean, on Earth, but I don't even know what Earth this was, but the gravity was so messed up because when I literally when the dude literally went ahead and like broke like a building that was like not even a building, it was just a structure. That's all I can call it because it wasn't even a building. It was just a structure that was so, like it was. I guess you could say like a part of a building that used to be. Yeah, like maybe like a structure that once was, and just like broke it, and like literally, you'd think that once you break it like in two, it would just like drop to the ground. No, this thing just you broke it in two, and it still was floating. Yes, it was still floating. Yes. And then he just went ahead and just like was like, I got in my mind looking like, is it floating? It Nah, that can't be. And he just went ahead and just like chucked the pieces at the dude, and like I guess it immobilized the guy, and he was pretty injured or dead because he just wasn't like attacking after the dude just sent a bunch of the structures like at him. He literally was. He just was done after that, and I just was like, thank God. Like genuinely speaking, thank God. Like oh my God, it's over now. Great. I don't like this. I don't have to keep watching this fight continue. Now here's the interesting part about it. When I looked over at the other guy, when I looked over to see the stuff. Well, the other guy looked over too, but I looked over first, and I was just like, I was seeing because everything around because it seemed like I was like near China or something like that, or some sort of domain, some sort of border, and I was like, what's going like some sort of nation border, and I was like, what the hell? And it literally, from what I could like see, it was just like everything was just destroyed. Like there was like there, you would have thought civilization would have just been there, like structures and all. No, it was literally like the nature took back its place in the world, and yeah, like there was just no structures like that. it just, and if there were, the structures were literally like, there was like, the gravity was messed up to begin with. So not really much could strive like that, from my perspective. Not really much human life. So I just was like, wow. I don't know what happened there, but apparently humans are almost entirely dead and are now ruled by these machines. Wow. Or whatever the hell was ruling them. 'Cause I could tell humans were no longer in power. I could feel it just from the entire world, especially from the academy. Um, but basically, yeah, no, and I was looked at it and I just was like, so basically in this world, in this parallel world I was in, humans were no longer apex predators. We just were practically like guinea pigs or whatever the hell towards the world that we were in, towards these whatever the hell was. Because mind you, I only saw the enemy out that I had been fighting, that I'd been watching the fight for like for two. One, the version of me who was killed, and two, the other dude. Like, this being that they were fighting was just like, he was just that good, or it was just that good. I couldn't even tell if it was a guy or a girl. Well, technically, it sounded like a guy, but you never know. um, and I just was like, oh, cool, this is interesting. Um, but the interesting part about it was that the dude, his suit was, well, their suit was more like, when they weren't in the classroom before they killed me, their suit was bigger, a lot bigger. Like, it was like the suit like kind of shrunk down, had even had the body shrink down to like the size of the area that they were in. So like the classroom was smaller than the rest of the hallway. So like the suit shrank more to human size in a sense. And I was like, I witnessed that, and I was like, whoa, interesting. Um, yeah, no, that was, mind you, I kept going in and out. I kept going in and out. Like, literally, I was just like, I'm not trying to experience just like that. I'm just gonna keep going in and out. And it just, it was interesting. It was very, very interesting. Um, what I can say is that, mm, 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 the things I witnessed in this world, in all three worlds, was impeccably amazing, incredible. Even though it was terrifying, slightly, they were impeccably amazing and incredible. But I do remember one world where it was different. This was in a world that I think it was the one with my mom, and I remember saying something. I couldn't tell what kind of experiences it was. I knew it was out of body though. And I remember saying, all right, goodbye. And literally just like literally saying goodbye and just like literally like dissolving and coming back to my body. Like literally like having my body dissolve. Like watching my body dissolve. And like coming back to my body after that. And I just was like, and I could feel them looking at me like, is he dissolving? The hell? And yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, guys, those were my three experiences. I don't like making these videos so long. I really don't, but that it can't be helped, right? But yeah, those were my experiences. Hope you guys enjoyed just me speaking of these things. Sorry, I keep looking outside because I'm like, I don't know, I'm just so used to looking outside for some odd reason. Yeah, no, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, night. I don't know. And yeah, that's my it's my video on this frog experience that I had. So I to you guys immediately with the experiences. I was like, oh, this is an interesting experience. Oh, wait a second. Hold up. Hold up. U.S. China. Yes, I recall now. In the third experience, I was in the first. First, I was in the U.S. Third experience, there. Then I was in China. Yes, now I recall. Yes, okay, so that's what I was trying to say. Um, so yeah, the domains, everything was just messed up. Everything was screwed the hell up. Everything how it is right now, the continents and all, the countries, everything was literally different, entirely different. Like China was literally close as hell to the U.S. It was interesting as hell to me. I noticed that I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, but isn't China in Asia? And I was like, so wouldn't that mean that? And I could, and I was like, don't think it. Don't try to articulate it into such a way. But yeah, guys. Johnny, my name is Tross Johnson. My channel is TMNJ. I'll be getting to you guys with some more videos. Potentially speaking, this was actually I didn't expect these experiences to happen. I didn't. But yeah, guys, love y'all. Johnny.